Did you know on average a Chipotle store makes over $2 million in revenue? Are you interested in owning a Chipotle franchise? Well, I'm really sorry to break the news to you. Right now, Chipotle is not offering franchises in the United States. They're only opening up corporate locations. Chipotle was once owned by McDonald's, now it's its own independent business. And I want to walk through some of the most important findings that we've seen from the 2020 annual report that Chipotle produced. Chipotle was founded in 1993. It has nearly 30 years in the United States, and it received an investment from McDonald's only 5 years after it opened. The CEO was originally opened up Chipotle so he could make some money and then fund a high-end restaurant that he dreamed of creating. But after the initial success of Chipotle, he put that plan to the side. And as of December 31st, 2020, there are 2,700 plus Chipotle restaurants throughout the United States, as well as 40 international locations. Despite the pandemic, Chipotle only closed 9 locations, which is pretty impressive when you look at it. That they have nearly 3,000 locations and they only closed 9, as well as they opened 160 in 2020, which surpassed 139 open in 2019 and 137 open in 2018. So they did pretty well during the pandemic, and we've seen that the businesses and franchises that adapted fastest during the pandemic thrived. So Chipotle moved pretty fast to automated ordering. They invested more capital into their app and marketing their app and having specific pickup spots so you can easily pick up your burrito and head back home, as well as they focus on making sure that their restaurants were at the highest standard of hygiene given the COVID pandemic. So talking about those that adapted during the pandemic, Chipotle restaurant sales, nearly half of the total revenue in 2020 came from their website as well as the mobile app. At-home delivery really became a really popular option for the Chipotle consumers. However, you have problems and risk with the third-party delivery apps in terms of the price, and they don't own the entire process from the time that the order is placed to the time that the client receives the product, like Domino's Pizza, for example. As is the case with many food and beverage franchises and businesses, including big names like Starbucks, McDonald's, Burger King, there have been labor shortages throughout the United States, as well as major supply chain disruptions that negatively impacted the profitability in 2020 for some of the largest food and beverage brands. Now you're probably wondering, how much money does the Chipotle franchise make in the United States and globally? In 2020, Chipotle made nearly $6 billion of revenue. This surpassed 2019 at 5.5 and 2018 at $4.8 billion of revenue. Now, that doesn't mean that Chipotle made $5 billion or $6 billion in these years. The net income for Chipotle in 2020 was $350 million. You compare that to about the same in 2019, but significant increase from 2018, where the net income was $176 million. So at a rough profit margin, it's not bad, but it's still less than 10% when you look at the total net income compared to the top line revenue at around $6 billion. So talking about how Chipotle did throughout the financial crisis, when you look at sales, June 30th, 2020, looking at that quarter, sales dropped 10%, but then they rebound 8% as of September 30th, 2020, December 31, 2020, up 5.7%. And for the first quarter of 2021, sales went up 17% for Chipotle. So they're gonna have a good 2021 as long as there's not major disruptions with the Delta variant, labor shortages, etc. So Chipotle is a fantastic concept, especially from a consumer perspective. The stock is valued very, very high, and you can unfortunately open up your own Chipotle, because right now all the locations, at least in the United States, are company owned and operated. You should consider other food and beverage concepts that you can invest significantly less capital to open up, and watch some of the videos of the ones that I've had with food and beverage entrepreneurs throughout the United States.